Ooh, your light looks way better than mine.
And we're back.
Hey guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? Third week in a row.
Yes, Black Coffee and Tea Podcast. We are back in effect. All right.
All right, let's get into it. First off, how are you, girl?
Girl, we're good. I'm good. We're good.
We're good. We're good. I'm good.
You know, I just said that because we literally just been talking for an hour and a half before we recorded.
We have been. We've been talking about a lot. Y'all, again, one day we're going to have like a blooper session of just straight, like, Mia and True Whitney.
Because it's going to be the fan club, girl. That's going to be the fan club access. Where you get the unedited version. That's where the real tea is, y'all.
Wouldn't y'all like to know?
Right. So let's hop into it. What is going on in Nashville,
Music City streets? So I do have one thing I want to shout out. My godson, he was born with a heart condition, and he had to have 3 heart surgeries within his first year of life. So bless his little heart. Shout out to him. But there is a walk going on that the American Heart Association is putting on for to raise money for those that want to support the American Heart Association. That will be this Saturday from 9 to 12 at Centennial Park in Nashville. So hopefully those that, you know, have someone in the family or not, and you just want to go out and support and walk, that's an awesome event that I wanted to share. That's all I got. So
that's nice. That's really good.
Yeah, I figured I'd let the OJs lie where they lie.
The OJs back again?
Girl, they still ain't here. They're coming in October, but I'm gonna let them go because I keep bringing them up in every episode.
I didn't know you was waiting for him, girl, for October. Okay,
girl, well, yeah.
We are about to be. We are about to be in October, which is crazy because, you know, sometimes I forget about the seasons and stuff being in LA. You don't really even start to feel that until like Christmas time.
True that.
I feel like, after Thanksgiving, then it starts to feel a little fallish.
Yeah.
But it's a trip because I noticed it because I was in Starbucks. And somebody was like, the pumpkin spice. I was like, oh, damn. It is like Halloween time, like fall. This year has flown by. Like, I'm in shock. Girl, 2020.
This year is gone.
Does that not sound weird, 2020?
Girl, I thought the year 2000 sounded crazy. And I was so excited because the first thing was I was excited about the year 2000 because I was turning 13. So the year 2000 was like, oh my God, I'm going to be 13. I'm going to be a teenager. I just thought I could do whatever when I was a teenager. I don't know why.
Y2K.
But then I was also scared because, as you know, everybody was like, oh my God, the world is ending.
Everyone said that.
My mom, she was a part of the camaraderie as far as buying out all the water. And so I'm thinking like, oh God, I'm excited to turn 13. But then I'm like, oh, I may not be able to see it. So 2020, girl, I wasn't even thinking about no damn 2020. Now we're here. Praise God.
It sounds surreal. You remember the 2012 one too. There was like, 2012, that's the Mayan calendar. They was like,
I do. But for me, I felt like in my spirit I was gonna be okay because I made it past the year 2000. So I was like, oh, this is just, I ain't going for this shit. Like, y'all by the water, whatever.
I used to be a little like nervous, scared, but it's like how I feel now as an adult. I just feel like, hey, if they gotta take the world, take the world. We can do a whole new beginning.
We can start over. We can start this shit right on over.
Whether I'm here or not, for the greater good of mankind, we may need to start it over.
Would you want to come back as a Black person or another race?
Oh, Black all day.
Would you rather come back as a woman or a guy?
A woman. I can't imagine how it feels to be a guy. I mean, I don't know. Reincarnation, that's a whole different podcast. But shit, I don't know. A part of me believes in reincarnation. Part of me does.
Yeah.
I've heard some crazy stories about little kids like remembering like their other lives. And it's the craziest thing. When I was a little kid, my mom used to, like, I used to say, oh, I'm not from here. I used to say that all the time. Like, I'm not from here. I was like, where are you from? She's like, I was like, I don't know. I'm not from here.
Not from here with you peasants.
I feel like that now, though. I'm like, I'm really not from Earth like that. Like, I am, but I could definitely sense that we came from somewhere else. Like, I don't know. It's just a knowing.
I believe in aliens.
I do too.
Okay. Really?
Girl, we could be aliens for all we know. There could be another Earth out there and they think we aliens. If they came across us, they'd be like, oh my God, these aliens.
I know. That's
they
what I was
thinking.
I was thinking that shit too, Whitney. Like, real talk, I'm like, I believe that we could be looked at as aliens as well. Not only do I believe, people want to look at me crazy because I believe in aliens. It's just like, I believe that there are also other people, things, whatever, outside of us. Like, I just believe it.
Girl, I believe, I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
I believe in all the unseen. I definitely believe in mermaids. I know there are mermaids. Mermaids is a species that
it's not like a person. It's not a true person underwater.
It's just like a species. A half person, half fish. Like, just like a freaking dinosaur or whatever else they want us to believe. Like, if you can believe in fucking dinosaurs that we've never seen, why can't you believe in mermaids? Like, the ocean, they say, is less explored than outer space because the ocean is so deep and so scary. And so, like, the ocean is so unknown. And I've watched documentaries on the History Channel on mermaids. There's been ancient sightings of mermaids and people who have said they've seen this. And I don't know, girl. I believe. This could get deep, y'all. Tune into my next podcast, the Conspiracy Podcast. We're going to talk about all these. But yeah, California love. Speaking of mermaids, I had a great time at the beach. I felt like a little mermaid. I set up my little tent. I was out there in Malibu. That tent was hard as hell to set up. It was me and my friend. And literally chivalry is dead because men, wives, husbands, uncles, grandfathers, they were all just looking at me and my friend struggle to set up that tent for an hour and a half. And nobody fucking helped. And everyone else had their tent set up and shit.
Oh, God.
So... And just when we thought someone was helping, we were like, oh my God, this surfer guy comes in and he has a surfboard and he's walking up to us from the beach and he's like, hey ladies. And we're like, hey, and he starts pointing. So we're like, oh, he's got to help us. Like, fix this little tent. He knows what he's like, yeah, that alcohol, you may want to put it in your car because you can get a ticket out here.
Like,
you see us struggling. The groceries are on the ground now with the alcohol and shit, but you see us struggling with the main tent, trying to set up our shit for damn near an hour. And you walk up to us all jolly to tell us about alcohol. That's none of your business.
That's a hot fucking mess, if you ask me.
I don't understand why white folks make it everything their business and their duty. Like, we know alcohol is not allowed at the beach.
This is their shit. Period.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Not all white folks, I suppose. I don't know. But the ones I've seen. But yeah, it was an amazing weekend in California. Events? I'm not sure of any major events, but that was fun. Free fun. So yeah. A lot of things to do.
Huh?
I said a lot of things to do in California. Oh, there is a fight coming up. A huge fight at the Staples Center. One of my friends is flying in town for her birthday, so we may go to this fight. Yeah, I've never been to a fight, so I'm pretty excited if I go.
I'd love to go to a fight.
I don't know these boxers, though. You may know them. Prince Pierce?
I'm sure one of our viewers out there know him. Who else?
Do you watch boxing? Does Marlon watch boxing?
We had a bike party here. But that's kind of out of our. Yeah, he watches boxing.
Yeah, he probably knows because it's a big fight coming up. So
yeah, he watches boxing.
Okay, yeah, Spence versus Porter. So Staples Center looks like it's gonna be lit.
Well, let's get into it. What is the tea, sis? You got any tea for us this week?
I don't have much tea for you this week. Damn.
You know
Us
what?
being,
It has been kind of a dry week. I feel like there's been stuff going on, but nothing that's like for me that's like
I mean, there are some things going on in politics, Trump, his tapes got leaked about I want to say like Russia or some shit, some more corrupt shit that he
yeah,
been doing. I'm not shocked, but it's
this
been
whole
talked about.
impeachment Nancy Pelosi uh,
Mm-hmm.
issue as well, talking about impeachment. Again, I don't believe it until I see it. So right now it's just hearsay. Um,
Exactly.
but, hopefully, whatever,
Yeah, whatever.
Shout out
Um,
to Cassie and her husband.
I was just about to say that. You took the
That
words
all
out of
worked
my mouth. Yes,
out.
I was like, I heard because it dropped. That was like a secret marriage.
It
I
was.
was like, that was the one bit of tea that just was on the papers because of
I
that.
mean, she went through a very public breakup, very public. I would say there was probably a moment of embarrassment because we're talking about Diddy and Cassie. They had a 12-year on and off relationship and very public. Then Diddy's well, I don't even know what to call her, but I don't even want to say baby mama. I feel like that's not a befitting title for her, but his mother, the mother of majority of his kids, passed this year. Was it this year? It sure was this
It's
year.
coming up on the 1 year
Oh wait, it was
anniversary.
last year, but it's coming up on a year this year in November.
November.
Shout out Kim
Wow.
Porter and everyone in her
Which
family.
that was for flu-like symptoms,
Yeah, yeah.
which shocked what's her name? Kylie Jenner. She just went to the hospital for
I
flu-like
know. I
symptoms as
saw that
well.
too. I saw that.
It's
Um,
very odd, but yeah.
so
So
Kim
hot here. I'm just like,
died. Then Diddy, of course, he's going to reveal his love for her and all these other sorts of things. But he kind of made it seem as though she was his only love, his everlasting love, and the only person who he's ever really given a damn about. And I'm sure coming up on the breakup that they just apparently had not too long before she died, that could have been looked at as embarrassing or, somebody feels some type of way. Shortly after their breakup, though, it was reported that, Cassie moved on and started dating this guy named Alex Fine, and he is fine.
and he was employed by Diddy, by the way. So
Yep, he was allegedly her trainer that Diddy employed for Cassie. And so they've been dating. Then she got pregnant. Then she got engaged. All of this happened this year. Got pregnant, then got engaged, and now she's gotten married while she's pregnant. So shout out to Cassie. That's a lot of like whirlwind, I would say, for one person, but it's all good things. So I'm happy for her. She is now Cassie Fine, which she is fine too. And I wish them well. I think that's pretty dope. There was a comment that was like, Lord, I've seen what you can do for others. Please, whatever prayer Cassie, Sierra, Christiana Milian did, please, thought that was funny. So it's kind of like everybody left fuckboys and just went and found their person.
I would say the trend I see in all of these such relationships is it seems as if they stepped outside the box and dated who they wouldn't normally, maybe. That's what it looks like. Non-black for one, for most of them. And then for Sierra, it seems like she got the complete opposite of Future, just like the most cleaned up, buttoned up, respectful guy you could get. Who may not have been attractive initially, but I just feel like you got to step outside your box, maybe.
You do. You have to step outside your box. I will say that, attraction is very important. You still have to, whether it's something about a person that's attractive to you or not, attraction is
still be attracted.
At the end of the day, they have to be attractive to you. And so you have to find them. I'm not saying just go out here and find a goober, but who treat you like royalty. Let's not do that.
That's a
But
goober.
yeah, so like, yeah, I agree. They all seemingly have dated men that are not what we would think is their type based on previous relationships. And, these people are getting wifed up, married, and,
Yeah.
So it probably isn't a bad thing to take some words from the wives. Apparently, I'm not going to say relationship goals because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors these days or ever. But from the outside, you know what? Kudos to everybody. That's awesome.
Christina Milian too. She's expecting with her fiance. I think he's a soccer player or something. He looks like an Italian dude or
no idea.
Yeah, that's great. Amazing news.
Speaking of fuckboys, so Chloe and Tristan Thompson and Chloe, I don't know what's been going on with him. I don't know. Apparently, they're now back fucking, just based on my opinion of what I'm seeing. It's apparently Chloe originally blocked Tristan, her baby father, from Instagram, and so I'm thinking allegedly now he's unblocked if he's able to post under her pictures. So that's my assumption. I don't know.
You're right. I didn't even think about that, Mia. Damn, look at you. IG investigator.
Trying to get like the shade room. But no, like Tristan has literally been on her pictures on these blog sites. Any post that Chloe is making, whether it's selfie or whatever, like he's, ooh, hey, beautiful. Oh my God, you look amazing. You're such a diamond. Another embarrassing couple. Or at least from Chloe's perspective, I would be completely embarrassed if I were her based on previous acts of Tristan. However, you know what? They have a daughter together. So again, kudos to if this is something that they want to explore again. I don't know, but from the outside looking in, this could be very like, what the hell is going on here? Like, Tristan, what are you doing? Like, because this just sounds a bit much publicly. Like, basically, are you trying to do all these things in the way that you're doing them publicly as you are behind closed doors? Because it sounds like really put on and forced to me. Chloe, you ignoring him in public, I don't know. It just seems weird. But I don't know. I really don't know. It's something to talk about because it was just like, something I peeped, and then I'm kind of like, whatever. But I definitely believe they're fucking.
I would not doubt that. She gives me nothing but desperado vibes.
Right.
Up and down.
Agree.
LA. Like, she don't know who she is. Like, girl, your last name is Kardashian. You don't need these. Like, they need you. Like, what don't you get?
Yep.
But okay. Be desperate with a fuckboy. The Kardashians, another topic while you just mentioned their name and reminded me. So a lot of y'all may have seen these clips on the Shade Room with Kourtney Kardashian's kids basically being out of control. The kids, her nanny quit on her because her daughter Penelope took her hand and slapped it across the nanny's face and scratched the lady down her face. And so the nanny said, I had enough. Your kid's out of control, and she quit. And so they had this conversation, and a clip was shown from their show. I don't watch their show anymore, so I didn't see this, but a clip was shown of Corey, what's his name? Corey Gamble?
Corey Gamble, yes.
Yes, Kris Kardashian's, Kris Jenner's boyfriend. Yeah, I guess that's her boyfriend, her man. She's been with him for a while now. I'll say at least about four years now.
That's why I said long term, because he's been around
about 4 or 5 years, and he is a black man. Now, we usually don't hear too much from Corey. Never really knew where he stood and how he acted. Really, never really seen his character. But in this scene, he showed he's a black man and he's raised in a black family, because he basically just said at the table, "Look, if your daughter took her hand and scratched me across my face, I'ma whoop her, and then I'ma let you know why I whooped her." And so him and Scott went at it, and to the point where Corey was like, "I'll whoop your ass, Scott. Like, keep talking." So he let his blackness, slip all the way out.
We
I
saw.
don't think they've ever even seen that side of Corey. But you know what it is? He probably been holding so much in for so long dealing with that family. You know, like he's really the only, you look to the right, you look to the left. There's no real black people in that family. I mean, you got Kanye, but that's questionable.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can say is that Kim and Chris, they didn't take it offensively like Courtney and I guess Chloe. I don't even know if Chloe took it offensively, but she was just trying to have Courtney's back in the situation. But you can tell they're just used to dealing with black households. Kim and Chris, like they were like, he didn't mean it like he's gonna beat her up. He's just saying like he probably gonna pop her or be like, you know, so she don't
Right.
do it again. With
Class down.
the
Shut
shit
up.
that you're not doing, Courtney and Scott, because why is your child walking around hitting people in their face to the point where your own staff is leaving a check? I'm sure it's a nice check, and they're leaving it for because your kid's bad as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, they were bad as hell to her. In the clip that was just released with her, it was Courtney, Chloe, the kids all on the couch, and same concept. Courtney was on the couch, hey baby, you know, tending to her kids, and mommy, this, gimme. And Chloe, you know, she's in her phone like
Chloe was
regular
like,
aunties be, and they kind of just be like, and then Chloe was finally like, excuse me, what did you say to your mother? No,
and she
you
was
need
like,
to say this. And, you know, and so for that, for your sister to even be like, you know, she kind of stayed out of it for a second until she was like, no, this is the way you ask. And then she said, excuse me, what did you say to your mom? You know, so, child, you know.
and Courtney took a public stance and she basically was like, I was trying to find it, but I can't. But she basically was saying, you know, I don't believe in that. And violence is not the way you handle things. And, you know, she's not going to inflict violence and physical abuse upon her kids. And I'm like, they're inflicting it upon you. So you gonna let them physically abuse you and you push them out. Okay. Okay. It's like if you don't discipline your kids, they're gonna go out into this world. Now I'm not a parent, but from kids I've grown up with, they're gonna go out into this world thinking that there's no consequences for shit that they do. Period. And a lot of them, especially Caucasian, I'm not gonna say all Caucasians, but majority Caucasian kids take it out on schools and shit. Like they could start shooting up the school next thing you know, because you never instilled any type of discipline to know they cannot hurt people. It's a difference between physically abusing your kid and disciplining your kid and spanking your kid or popping them, whatever you call it. It's a major difference.
It is a major difference.
Like I know black people can take it and have taken it. Like back in the day, my mom was like, "It was you get a switch from the tree and you know extension cord."
Schools. My sister says she remembers when she used to get popped at school from teachers, and my sister's 42. So wow. This is not anything new. And for me, I feel like those generations have been raised well based on who. It feels like only now where there's this, you know, let's have a kumbaya moment, you know, let's have a mental health break day, you know, where you don't go to school and you think about your actions. Like, no, let's take a time out, whoop the shit out of you, and then we can have a woosah. But that's, you know what I'm saying? These kids now feel entitled. You know, I look at the amount of access that this generation has, even my generation. I feel like my generation was the first generation to really like see like, you know, pagers, and then it migrated into cell phones, and then it's just kind of, so I feel like the generations after me have been just so more self-absorbed. My son, he, you know, as much as he's given, you know, there's entitlement there as well. So it's, you know, making sure that, I keep things in perspective, you know, and realizing that, look, no, just because they all have this doesn't mean you need it, right? Like, we didn't have it growing up. Now, I do know that we live in a different day and age, but some things are morally just not, you're not ready for, and two, you're just not going to get, period. No questions. I don't care what Susie and Jim have. You're not getting it. You're not ready for it. You don't need it. I personally believe my son doesn't need social media, and a lot of his peers have social media accounts. Yeah. One of the common trends that I'm seeing in social media are these kids killing themselves. We've seen it as adults, you know, police brutality. just all of this desensitization out there. So I feel like a 10-year-old, no, absolutely not. You don't need social media. You have your whole life to be on social media. You don't need social media right now. And point blank, period. Don't even ask me why. So, Courtney, I think that, parent how you parent, but there is opportunity for you to explore other things outside of how you are currently parenting is what I want to say.
And how she's parenting, I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to go too hard because I'm not a parent, but what I can say, what she has mentioned is, oh, there's nothing I can take away from Penelope that's going to make her listen. I can take away this from Mason and he's going to listen. And it's like, Mason is like a whole 7 years older than Penelope, first of all, or whatever. So he can conceptualize an item. But second of all, what if you had nothing? Like, you're basing your respect off of materialistic things. It shouldn't matter if you have nothing. At the end of the day, you gave this child life. So you deserve respect, regardless if they don't have one toy or whatever the case you're trying to bribe them with to act good. Like, I don't know why you're basing it off of the things you have. And then you're going to grow up and you're going to have these materialistic kids that think they're supposed to keep just getting shit, putting in no work. And they're going to fuck around and call you a bitch like y'all called Kris Jenner all them years on TV.
And that's my thing.
That's what's going to happen.
There's all this respect and stuff that you, like, y'all treat your mom like shit. And furthermore, you don't even have to have things. Trust me, Penelope likes certain things. I'm sure she likes juice. I'm sure she likes to pick out her own clothes. I'm sure she likes to play with this favorite toy. It may not be bad. There are things that your kids gravitate to, period. I take away juice. I take away the best of the best foods that he likes. I bring it all the way back down to basic level. Because at
water.
At the end of the day, you don't have to eat this. You don't have to wear this. Like, I take away your privileges. It may not all be all the time video games and this and TVs and it could be something as basic as freaking a sock. Like, he loves socks. So,
but I'm just saying, like, before all of that even existed, before Carter could even conceptualize what an item was, it's like you still had to declare you're the parent. You know what I'm saying? And you're the child. Like, you do what I say. Like,
you gotta but you also have to mean it. You also have to mean it. Like, you can't. One thing I've learned is that kids will wear you down. So if I'm already tired, because I've been guilty of this myself. If I'm tired, right, because I've worked, whatever, and I get home, I have to pick him up, whatever the case is, feed him, whatever, and he asks me something, I'm like, no should be no, right? In my household, if I say no, don't even ask me again, because you're gonna get whipping for asking me again. I said no. He'll be like, Mommy, can I da-da-da? Carter, no. He'll say it again. And if he gets me in the right frame of mind, I'll finally be like, oh, Carter, okay, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Yes, you can do it. So one thing I've learned because there's no perfect parent, I would say, is that you just have to mean what you say. And that's where the respect comes in, because kids, they are very smart. Kids are smart, and they know your personalities. They know who they can play against each other. Like, okay, when I go to grandma's house, I know that if I act this way, I'm going to get what I want. I know if I go to my dad's house, I know I can't play with him like that, so I don't even bother to ask him. Like, kids know who they can do that with. And I just feel like when it comes to Courtney, they probably know that she's not going to put the fear of God, and not fear, but you know what I'm saying? Like, being like, okay, I said what I said, period.
They're just typical white kids. Like, girl, Carter's not gonna bop you across the head if you say no. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's out.
He can't even hit. He knows he can't even hit a girl. So he knows he can't hit me, but to know he can't hit a girl, no, you damn sure can't hit your mom.
I have never in my life hit my mom in the face or hit her. Like, what? I have no right hit. What? No. My mom's voice gets to a certain decibel, I start to perspire. I'm shaking. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm uneasy. Like,
I agree.
And I probably have not gotten a whooping since I was like 9 years old. And I remember that last whooping.
Right.
But it was just like,
right,
all I needed. Like, I don't know. I feel like Black kids have this essence. Most Black kids, I'm not going to say all, but most Black kids that I grew up with, at least our generation, they got beaten. They got whooped or beat or
everybody
something.
I know that got whoopings.
Exactly. And they're functioning as,
Even some of the white kids I grew up with, they got whoopings. And I was like, oh, I didn't think y'all got whoopings. I was like, yeah, my mom whooped my ass.
Oh, that's good to know. I've never seen it.
Some of them get whooped. Some of them get whoopings. And again, I think what we're trying to convey to our audience is we're not saying, guys, beat your kids, because I think some people take that concept to like we're sitting here just beating them with like bricks and things, and just now they're black and
sometimes all it takes is one pop. Like if you're gonna take your hand and take and scratch my, oh, you got me fucked, pop. No, pop, don't raise your hand in my face no more. Like period. And that's just I just feel Corey on that, because I worked at a daycare, and you remember this daycare in Nashville, and that it was this one little kid. He was bad as fuck, and he would spit and he would kick and scream. I took his ass and pop. I was like, don't you ever spit in my face again.
Oh my God.
He loved me after that. He loved me after that. And he wouldn't even listen to his mom. He wouldn't even listen to his mother, but he would listen to me.
But the thing about it is kids love structure.
They do.
Kids they verbally hate it, but they love it. They need it. They need a schedule. They need structure. They need guidelines. They need those things, because if they don't have them, they literally are run amok. I had an old friend. We're not friends anymore, but I had an old friend. Her daughter would just go to bed different times of the night. So therefore, my friend couldn't go to sleep at her regular time, because she's trying to figure out why her daughter can't go to sleep anytime, before 11 or midnight. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, but if you start early, or if you implement a schedule and routine and structure, you can have those things, because the reason why those things are in place are to make your life easier, period. And for me, a schedule is something that we always end up having as we grow up. Like, it's just
a part of being a human being, dealing with things you don't want to do.
You don't get to do, exactly.
And if you don't take that from your own parents, you're not going to take it from anyone else in the world. You're not going to keep a job. You're not going to obey the law. You're not going to do anything that you're supposed to be doing, because you fear no consequences of anything.
You're right.
And that's a problem.
And you feel entitled. You feel like, well, why can't I? No, because sometimes, no, you cannot. You can't. I would love to tell my boss, why do I have to do this and you're over here doing this? I can't tell her that.
And Courtney and Scott, they better put the fear in those kids of hitting somebody else before they go fuck with the wrong kid or the wrong person. And they come back with a gun and shoot their kid. Or you got to teach them those boundaries now before it's too fucking late and you put in their life at risk. It's called tough love. It's called fucking tough love.
Put them in karate or something, because those coaches in football and basketball and all that, they don't play. They don't play that. Like, if you can't do it, let somebody else do it, because they definitely need discipline. Kids need discipline. And however you decide to discipline your kids, whatever, but kids need discipline in each
Kardashians, if you're listening, you could hire, I got 2 or 3 aunties. Give them 2 days, maybe even 3.
Yep.
Your kids will be in line.
They'll be back right.
And they only got to touch them once. Like, and it ain't got to be a lot. It does not have to be. Like you said, it's not overly aggressive. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, don't fuck with me. Don't. I'm the adult. Mm-hmm. Shit.
Period.
I'm sorry. I probably don't need no kids. Y'all don't listen to me. Okay. Next topic.
So I wanted to shout out, rest in peace, Proctor from Power.
Oh, I was like, who, girl? Who else did we
he was looking like Power, rest in peace.
Proctor.
This episode has been
Power.
You know what? The first episode, I was like, ugh, this is not going to be a good season.
Oh, that was the best episode of the whole season thus far.
The first episode?
No, the last.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah, the first episode.
It started out.
But then it gradually got a little bit better. And then this episode, I was like, okay, like, wow, what y'all doing? But, shoot. I felt like he was going to be the one to die. As soon as I heard him say Tommy did it, I was like, he going. And then Sax spills the beans, whether they were true or false. So that made Tommy be like, what the fuck, when he was snuck into the girl's apartment. And I just knew he was going to be the one to go. I mean, I didn't really have time to even be truly surprised. I obviously knew somebody impactful was going to die because of all of the statuses and the text messages I got. And I'm like, okay, who was it? I'm like, it can't be Ghost, or maybe it could be. I'm like, it can't be Ghost because of whatever. Tommy, maybe. But then as I saw Proctor, I was like, okay, it's going to be Proctor.
Yeah, I watched it super duper early, like before. I watched it the night before when it came out on the app or whatever. But I knew he was gonna go from the episode before.
Really?
So yeah, so when he let his wife die, or his ex-wife die, I said it in my review. Y'all check out the reviews on BCT Podcast on YouTube. I do the whole power review thing up there. But he literally let her die, and I said, this is not Proctor. I was like, he's always the good guy. I was like, everything he's going through is changing him. And the fact he kept trying to push Ghost to kill Maria, and Proctor and Ghost almost like switched places. Like Proctor became heartless and like, oh, she gotta go. And Ghost trying to do the right thing, even if it hurts him, by giving her money and giving her a way out. He didn't want to kill Maria. So it's like showing me the arcs of the characters, how everyone now from where they started, they're in complete opposite of where they're ending.
Tasha's selling drugs.
Tasha's on the low gutter ball, trying to make a living some way, somehow, selling drugs with a random she don't even know.
Right.
And Keisha out here trying to stun on her,
right.
acting like she's Beyonce and shit.
Right.
I can't wait for Keisha to go. Keisha has to go, y'all. But I knew Proctor would go because he just totally turned against his morals, turned against his character. It was still very, very sad, though. I literally cried when he was telling his daughter, and the daughter knew. She just knew. She was like, are you going to be there? He was like, no, I'm not, baby. And he knew. And it's just so fucking sad.
Do you think that they had to have Tommy come in like that? Do you think that was necessary?
No.
To do all
They're
that?
being extra. It's super. What's bothering me about this particular season is things are pretty over the top. Like, I don't know if they're just trying to do over the top because it's the last season, but it's becoming so over the top that it's almost unrealistic. So it's like, I don't believe Tommy would shoot up that fucking expensive ass penthouse and nobody come up there. He was up there for like 2.5, 5 minutes. I just don't believe, like, come on, he gets away scot-free. Nobody sees him leaving the back entrance. Like, I don't really trust that. And then the way Tasha just randomly met that guy, about to fuck him, she literally was just crying over the other guy in the last episode. I'm like, y'all are just really pushing this little story to the point where it's becoming a little bit unbelievable, but it's the last season, so I'm gonna just ride with it.
I agree. I really agree with everything you just said. I think the last episode is sometime in December, so we still have about 2 more full months. That's like
I think it's gonna go till 12 episodes, and we're on episode 5 now.
Yeah.
And they're probably gonna do that thing where they skip like a week or 2. I hate when they do that.
Yeah, I hate when they do that. I feel unnecessary.
But I'm just tired of my shows not being, I'm already upset about The Chi.
Yeah.
So we just found out that, we know Jason Mitchell's got kicked off The Chi because of his sexual abuse allegations. But I just found out that Reggie, who played, Reggie the drug dealer, he's not coming back to The Chi. And allegedly,
last episode, right?
No, he got shot, girl, but he was supposed to come back. So like he got shot and they took him to the hospital. Remember that drive-by? But he had become one of my favorite characters. He's so funny. He's like, I liked him. He wasn't the good guy, but he was funny and charismatic still. But the word on the street is that he basically got fired, or he chose to quit because they wrote a storyline with him falling in love with a transgender woman. So somebody from the streets who he found out was transgendered. And so he wasn't fucking with it. So he posted on his social media that he will not be doing the show. And apparently one of his boys or somebody leaked on Twitter that the reason was because of the script. And he just thought it was unbelievable. And he didn't see that being a part of his storyline, and he just refused to do it. And I know people are going to feel a ways about this because it's the whole transgender thing.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe to the Black Coffee and Tea podcast, available now on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
And if you want to be a part of the BCT fam, make sure you follow us on Instagram at BCT Podcast.
Until next time.